here, of course, by my illustrious co-host, Farmer Lou. Lou, how are you today?
Hey, how's it going, brother? How's it going? Just enjoying the day. You know, it's another one of these beautiful days here in New England. We really can't be mad about that. I am enjoying a nice smoke, so that's a good
Me
thing.
too. So, yeah, good,
How
good.
was your
Yeah,
weekend, brother?
my weekend was very uneventful by design. I hung out with my friends over at the Burn and Learn on Friday, and after that, I pretty much kind of relaxed, did some editing, worked on some stuff, but that's about it. Working on the new Greenhaven Media community, which I can't wait to talk about, but it's not quite yet ready to be released. But we got a great thing coming up on greenhavenmedia.com. I was working on it this weekend. So
I love it.
we'll keep you all posted on that. But anyway, we got a back show today. We got a couple of guests on. So I wanted to get right to Kristen in the corner. Welcome, Kristen Souza, Classic Kristen. How are you hanging out in the corner there?
Hello, hello. I am good.
Good, good,
Very, very
good.
good. Yeah, so, uneventful weekend over here as well. I feel like the tail end of summer is like absolutely flying by, so mostly just pulling my life together, doing a little bit of work on stuff, much like you. Yeah, so
Yep, yep.
nothing too crazy. I had a couple of plans, and then honestly, I always joke, I'm like, I'm so introverted, it's painful. So you get in these moods, you're like, yeah, I want to do all the things. And then as they pop up, you're like, I kind of just want to watch TV. It's so bad.
Right.
So
Today
I
became
stayed,
one of those days.
yeah,
That's
I
it,
just laid
man.
low. I was all right with it. Um,
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, no, we
yeah,
sometimes you got to do that. Especially we had a rainy week. It was kind of nice to just chill and
yeah. It
get
was
some
like kind of
sun.
weird and rainy. I said I think last week I moved my older daughter went back to school, so I, moved her up on Friday and put together a bunch of furniture and was in Springfield for like 9 hours building IKEA
Yeah.
furniture. So I was tired.
So real quick, we got some news out of the Durham Fair this weekend. Unfortunately, we had Gabe on, and we were all excited about breaking ground and pushing the envelope and
Yeah.
finally getting cannabis at the Durham Fair. Now tell us what happened. They made an announcement this weekend.
Yeah, it's super disappointing. It was an email that went out to folks that had expressed interest in being an entrant into their cannabis category. So, for those that don't know what we're talking about, the Durham Agricultural Fair, which I'm sure a lot of people in Connecticut know about, it's the largest agricultural fair in Connecticut. It's the end of September. And for the first year ever, they were going to allow cannabis as a category under the herb category. So you could submit your plants. There was not going to be any consumption as part of voting. It was going to be much like all of the other herbs and vegetables based off of aesthetic and things like that. But they did send an email out to those folks saying that this is no longer going to be a category this year and that they had been working with the Department of Consumer Protection. And unfortunately, the way the laws and regulations are currently written, that they don't feel that there is a way where they can continue to put this on legally. Um, which
Yeah.
is very disappointing. I have to say, at least they tried. Gabe definitely
Yeah,
put in a
he
wholehearted
did.
effort in getting it there. They posted that they were going to do it, but clearly things have happened behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
DCP, those three letters, our favorite letters.
And
DCP stepped in and said, no, no, no. And
so it's
look,
very frustrating because if there was not going to be any consumption and they were keeping the limits of, how much was on premises per person, a certain number, I'm not quite sure why it wasn't able to meet all of the regulations. And it's also possible that maybe the Durham Fair just didn't feel like they had the infrastructure to manage something that regulated, which is also a real possibility. But it is a bummer. That would have been really great for destigmatization. And it is a plant, it is agriculture. So,
so maybe next year we'll get it through. Maybe we can figure something out. Maybe we just need a little more time to figure it out. I do know from personal experience, and Loon remembers this event, when we tried to show cannabis to the public at an event at the Connecticut Science Center, DCP actually had to be there
oh,
and make
interesting.
sure it was handled properly. So it
Yeah, it
was
was a
very,
whole thing.
it was the whole thing. It was very difficult to get it done, but we
Very
did.
difficult.
but it was a smaller thing. It wasn't a giant, fair
No, it
like
was
that.
and our good friend Ellen. Just shout out to Ellen because she did do the first DCP sanctioned class with Kibra. So big shout out to Kibra and Ellen, who are not here on the show to be represented. So we make sure to give their spirits represented. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
No.
it was a hassle, so I can imagine them giving DC the Durham Fair a hassle. Big shout out. I want to give some shout out to Kimura. Kimura fell ill this weekend. She is in the hospital right now. So let's send our best wishes and send all our love out to Kimura Harrington of Kimura's Cultural Corner. I did an interview
Yes,
with her a
yes.
week ago, and that'll be up
Oh,
on the site very soon. We're editing it right now. But yeah, please send your love and best wishes out to Kimura. All right. What is happening around the state, Kristen, for this weekend or this week or whatever we're in?
wherever we are, it's like all those August things. Some of these are repeats, so if you have anything new, but it's always good to just reinforce what's going on. So this Sunday at Illicit Brewery is the Connecticut Can Affair, where they're going to have vendors, live music, food, a raffle, and a consumption tent. Illicit Brewery is in Manchester. It's open to the public, and that's going to go from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So that is
Nice.
coming up this weekend. Good group of people vending and supporting that one. So that should be a good time. And
Oh,
then, oh, go ahead.
yeah, we have the CT stock this weekend on Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, Down in Shelton for the Burn and Learn. Cannabis Corner, Greenhaven Media will be there representing. And also, we're going to be shooting some short little interviews with people on the power of the plant. So it's going to be interesting. Me and Ryan will be down there with the camera, and we'll be doing short little interviews with people about how the plant has changed their lives. So if you want to be a part of that, come down to the event Friday night in Shelton at the Holy Ghost Park. You can find out more about that at the Burn and Learn Center, but it is a celebration of the anniversary of Woodstock. All right,
I love that.
go ahead.
No, that's really cool. They do a good job in that park. I've never been, but I've heard it's very
Well, you need
impressive
to
venue.
go. You
I
need to
know.
go. It's a
Back to that
very
whole I'm an
impressive. I
introvert and I
would
don't leave the
live
house.
there. I would live at that park. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. I mentioned it last week, but again, August 23rd is microdosing and Kundalini yoga. That's at Wholeness House in Hartford, facilitated
Right.
by Aaron Doolittle. And all of the proceeds from that event are going to go to Connecticut for accessible psychedelic medicine. So that group is definitely pushing for some legislation and just changes to Connecticut law around using psychedelics. So overall, good charity event, good friends of the show. We love Aaron. So that should be a good one as well.
Very good. And I do believe on the 24th, there is another event.
Absolutely.
What is that one? Go ahead.
Well, we might not. There might be doubles, but the Canna Brand Connect event
That's
is
the
on the
one.
24th. Yes, so
That's the
that's in
one. We're
Greenfield,
all going
Mass.
to that. I was invited to that. Apparently, I'm supposed to be speaking, but
Oh, very fun.
and they'll be on
Yeah,
the
but that
show next week to talk about that.
exactly. So if you all want to go to cannabrandconnect.com, I believe, but if you search it, they're easily findable. They've got an Eventbrite page that gives you a little bit of info about the event itself. General admission passes are very reasonable. I think they're between $20 and $25. It's like
Yeah,
23 and change or something. So very reasonable, good time. Shoot
we'll
little
be there. All the
spit up the
influencers
highway.
will be there. A lot of fun. You got to
Yeah,
show up.
absolutely. Love the
And then I
mass
want to
events.
I want to give a quick shout out. I know this is a little far in advance, but our good friend Peasy, friend of the show, friend of Greenhaven Media, friend of Cannabis Corner, is holding an event up in Hartford at Warehouse 860, I believe. And it is a the ultimate blunt rolling contest, and that is hosted by To Be Blunt with Peasy and our good friends at Connecticut, who are also holding an event this weekend. So check him out. You can find the tickets. You can go to the To Be Blunt Facebook page or the website. Check it out. Go over there, show your skills, roll some blunts, hang out with Peasy and the crew. I'm sure I'm probably going to show up there too, not rolling, but I'll be rolling. I'll be
That's what I said. I'm like,
smoking.
I could stuff a bong. I was like, I could pack bong slides for you.
Lou, you should go. You're a good blunt roller.
I am a great blunt roller.
See?
Not
So you
even
never
to
know.
shoot some crap, but I am a great blunt roller. I roll a mean blunt.
So we got to enter Lou into the
Love it.
contest.
I might just have to get in there, see what they are. I was looking at it, you know what I mean? Because there's a artistic roll and then fast roll and then size roll. And I've been rolling blunts since I was 16 years old. I've got what is that? 24 years of magic fingers. And it's crazy. It's a skill that is unparalleled to many other people. I'm just saying there's a lot to be done
Like,
there.
not to brag,
Yeah.
but
Not to
Yeah.
love
not to brag,
Well,
but
then we got to enter you, Lou. We're going to enter you in that blunt rolling contest.
I
So,
may have I may have rolled one or two blunts on there.
yeah. So that is September the 7th. We'll keep talking about that in the weeks to come. But yeah, that ought to be a fun time. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on in Connecticut, and we got another event coming up, and that is going to be our first guest coming on today, and that is the Connecticut Cannabis Session. And with us right now is Justin Escabel, and he is the CEO and geneticist of Green Luster Phenos LLC. He's been an influencer and leader in the cannabis industry for 15 years. He was the head grower and geneticist of an outdoor commercial scale cultivation operation in Colorado in 2012. He has consulted with 87 cannabis facilities, 64 of which operate commercial canopies. He brings standard operating procedures to a gold standard. Escabel also specializes in cannabis tissue culture and selective homogeneous breeding, enabling his company to bring exotic tailored offspring to growers globally. Wow. Justin, welcome to the show.
How's it going? Good to be
Good,
here.
good.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Very, very well. Well, thanks for coming on. Wow, you have an impressive bio there. So tell us a little bit about your company and about this great event you got coming up here in Connecticut.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, so we're doing a very high level educational event in Connecticut. Green Luster Phenos, we've been in the space for quite some time now. We opened up in 2012 in Madrid, Spain, where we did a lot of genetic sales on the seed end at many coffee shops. And we actually, myself personally, I brought back about 50,000 rooted tissues in vitro to the
Wow.
States. My family and I, we live in New York and North Carolina. But big cannabis fan. My background is anything from traditional ag breeding to cannabis breeding. But we opened up here on the East Coast in the USA in 2016. We are cannabis breeders. We're also a tissue culture facility. So our niche that we carved out in the industry is sterile elite genetics. So because we start from vitro, we can culture out viruses, mosaic virus, hop-latent viroid. And so we take a very strategic approach to breeding so that growers, depending on where you are, can have genetics that are crafted and engineered specific to your regional zone. But yeah, the event coming up in Norwalk, Connecticut is September 7th on Saturday. It's going to be from 10 to 1 p.m. And it is, again, strictly educational. It's not like an expo. From 10 to 1, you're going to learn and you're going to witness and get to see all the new advanced tips and tricks to growing cannabis, whether at home or on a commercial scale. We've got Rick Rainbolt. He's going to be a speaker there. He's the CEO and founder of Canna Cobra. They provide direct to your door, drop ship, turnkey facilities for home growers, only 420 square feet, and something to help people get out of the rat race of your traditional jobs. And, they can generate a pretty nice income out of one of these facilities. So Rick will be there. Our genetic sales associate, Carl Jackson, born and raised right there in Norwalk, Connecticut, big cannabis connoisseur. He's a team member of ours, so he'll be there as well. And he's kind of your feet on the ground for anyone that wants to learn more about green luster phenos or genetics or growing.
So, wow, this is great. So now you guys are just coming into the Connecticut space now, or have you been located here for a while?
So we've had actually Carl on the ground for about 3 years now. Obviously we've sponsored and attended shows like NECAN, done a few things at, the few Hydra stores that exist there in Connecticut. But no, this will be kind of the first cannabis session. This is our third show. The first two were sold out in Long Island, New York, and Toledo, Ohio. So we're super psyched to get into Connecticut. Like I said, Carl's a big connoisseur, big fan of cannabis, and he's told me for 3 years now, he's like, dude, you got to do an event in Connecticut so these growers and consumers can kind of, see what you guys are all about and take advantage of these sweet shows.
Wow, and the ticket prices are very, very reasonable. I'm looking at your website right now. You've got ProMix in there as a sponsor, Canatrol, that one is in there, and Andon as well. So you've got some good companies along there with you, co-sponsoring the event. And this looks like it is a way for people to take their grow to another level is what I'm getting from this. And it is a course. So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about, it looks like a three-part course. Tell us a little bit about what people will learn when they come to this session.
Yeah, sure. So starting off, Rick Rainbow, he's going to dive in on facilities. He's going to talk about what home growers need to do to either retrofit their existing grow, garage, guest room. They're also going to find out a little bit again, like I said, about the turnkey drop ship facility. It's actually pretty impressive. Like I said, there's no building, right? There's no insulation, there's no nailing. It's put together like Legos. It's the first facility ever that I'm going to put down and quote as a Lego facility. But they're going to learn the ins and outs about how to control an at-home grow or a small craft grow, and do so with a good carbon footprint. Do so at low cost. So he's going to talk a lot about VPD. He's going to talk a lot about just why it's so important to have a controlled environment. Where then I'm going to come in and talk about genetics. We do engineered genetics specifically for Connecticut's outdoor environment. We do it specific for garden pressures. So depending on where you are in the USA, us now being on the East Coast, we do what's called plasticity breeding. So we engineer genetics that are going to be more susceptible, more resistant towards certain garden pressures, thrips, aphids, powdery mildew, and things of that sort. We're going to talk about tissue culture, how growers can get involved with tissue culture. It's amazing, right? You don't ever water, you don't ever feed, you don't have to look at your plant. It grows in cryo up to a year at a time. So we're going to dive into tissue culture, talk about how home growers can implement tissue culture for less than $500 at home. We're going to talk about axillary node culture. We're going to spread awareness of the mosaic virus, the hopulated viroid, what growers can do to be aware of this. It's spread through seed, it's spread through clone, and this is a big deal. In 2010, I cultures out the Rosetta virus out of knockout roses, which is just a traditional landscape plant. But the Rosetta virus just wiped out half of the nursery that I was working at the time in Raleigh, North Carolina, and other growers and other nursery companies had this issue. Hopulated viroid is like this. It's spreading in seed and clone, and a lot of growers, I can't tell you how many home growers I consult with, and they're like, hey, Justin, what's going on? We've got this deficiency. We don't know if it's pH. Come to find out the whole time, it's just the viroid. So,
and that is in the seed?
It can be in the seed or it can be in plant tissue, cannabis and hemp.
Okay.
It's, like I said, it's horrible. I mean, it cuts out 50% of your terpenes. It cuts out your cannabinoids. You have loss of vigor and luster of the plant. And it's something that we are going nationwide and educating people about and what they can do to protect themselves from it. So it's huge. I'm going to give information on how you can grow from seed to harvest without experiencing any pests or mildew, what products we recommend to use. You mentioned ProMix as one of our sponsors. I've used ProMix my whole life. I
Mhm.
remember when they first had their very first bag I used, and I want to say that was probably 2008, 2009. And I was sold right away, and they've improved year by year. So we brought them on as a sponsor. We like to everybody at our event are people that we hand select. We don't have a pitch deck where sponsors can come on and take a look. We hand select each sponsor and everybody that's going to be at the show. So it's very different, very unique. Great place to network and a great place to learn.
Well, I got to tell you, yeah, this is a very unique event. I haven't seen anything like it in Connecticut. And like I said, it's going to be in Norwalk, right? At the Art Monster Studio. So that's down in Norwalk. And it's very, very reasonable. That's going to be on Saturday, September the 7th, right?
That's right. And Art Monster Studio, big shout out to Raph. He also owns Five Fingers. So in that big warehouse, you've got Art Monster Studio, you've got a East Coast kombucha place, you've got
Oh,
Space Cat Brewery. And you know, when we go to a show, we want to encapsulate and bring everybody on board that's there local. So Space Cat's a part of it. They're going to host our mix and mingle from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So that'll be right after the show. Big shout out to Shangri-La CT. I don't know if you guys have heard of
oh, we love
Shangri-La.
her. Of course,
They're
we had her on the show. Jocelyn is a good friend of ours.
sweet, sweet. So they're, you know, they're going to open up the first drive-through dispensary. They've already got a brick
Yes.
order there, you know, in Connecticut. So naturally, we're like, hey, come on, join the fun, come learn, network, let's go.
Well, that sounds like an exciting event. I'm very excited now that you've described it. I think it's a great way. And like I said, it's at a very reasonable price. It's going to be a great event. It's during the day. So if you still want to go to the brunt throwing contest at night, you can have a whole day affair of it. But it's
Sweet.
during the day from 10 to 1, and then you have a little after party from 1 to 3. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. That's right.
Wow. And how can people find out more about this event? Where can
So
they,
you
where's the website or your social media, all that? Give us everything you got.
Sweet, man. Yeah, so you can go to ConnecticutCannabisSession.com. You can find out everything from the event there. It's linked to Eventbrite, so you can get tickets there, look at all the sponsors, look at the speakers, get a whole rundown of what you can expect at the show. If you're a grower and you just want to attend the show, I will tell you ProMix is giving away free stuff. We're gonna have genetics there for sale. We're gonna give away free hats, free swag. I know my Rick Rainbow, CEO of Canna Cobra, he's going to have some pretty cool things to hand out as well. So, yeah, overall, it's going to be a cool event for a home grower or somebody that just wants to get in the industry to come attend.
To learn.
I
Great,
love
great.
it.
Well, I think we're gonna come, right?
Sweet, man. Please
I,
do. Please do.
yeah, yeah. If you're inviting us, we'd love to come report on it, share the information. We'd love to
Yeah, we'll shoot some
really get all
footage.
that, shoot some
Yeah,
footage, get some nice content, really be able to highlight your brand. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
Give
I
Um,
us.
appreciate that, Luke.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate you bringing this good, something new to Connecticut, some good educational stuff at a very reasonable price. And we
we
really
just want
appreciate.
people to make sure they come in, man.
Yeah,
Come out,
that's it.
check it
We
out.
just
That's a big
it's
thing.
sounds like a
Support the
great event.
community. Carl's a great dude, you know, and I want to make sure that that's also highlighted. I've known Carl for a couple years, and he's really an amazing guy. I really look forward to being able to see him do what he's got going on now. We've met a couple years ago, and this is something that you know sometimes people say, "Oh, it's from people from out of town and stuff." Carl's a local guy. He's been here. He's really been pushing it. So this is, you know, let's support one of our own local dudes doing his thing and making it
Yes,
happen. So he
yes,
partnered with a great little group, a great group. I apologize, a great group over there. You guys are coming. Tissue culture is the way to go. If you can really get yourself a good tissue culture, you can, like you said, you can keep them for years at time. Realistically, not doing anything with them, a little solo, a little petri dish, and you have nice, clean genetics. And if you've got that established, then it's great to be able to start start a home cultivation in your garden. We tell people all the time, go ahead and grow your own. And when doing so, having nice, clean tissue cultures. I'm interested in learning about the build your build
Yeah, the
your
Lego grow room. I like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
So
So
something you
I
said
want,
self-contained? So is that something somebody could put in their garage or out on their back patio, or does it have to take up an indoor space? But or we can just leave it as find out more information by coming to the show.
that's right. That's right. But I want to second something you said about Carl Jackson. So I met this guy 3 years ago. We brought him on board with Green Luster Phenos. Like I said, born and raised Connecticut, Norwalk. He's a an amazing guy. I mean, like I said, he's authentic. He's the reason why we're doing this show. For 3 years now, he's like, dude, you've got to do something like this in Connecticut, please. And he talked me into it. And again, this show would not be happening if it wasn't for Carl Jackson. So anybody on the ground that needs to put a face with Green Luster Phenos, Carl Jackson's your man. And then to comment on what you said, Lou, yes, this facility is like an AirPod. You know, when you get an AirPod delivered
Yep.
before you're gonna move, you load it up. This is like an AirPod. It gets delivered to your house and you assemble it. I'm a big DIY guy. I like to get the most bang for my buck, and I like to do most things myself as opposed to paying somebody to do it. And so that's what you're gonna get from the Canna Cobra Freedom Facility. It's called the Canna Cobra Freedom Facility. Rick Rainbolt's been designing facilities in the cannabis industry since 2016. He founded Hemp Geo Institute, first institution here on the East Coast. And great guy, great guy. He's a mentor of mine. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of good people at this event. But like you said, if you want to learn more, you want to see what this is all about, just come attend the event.
all right, great, Justin. Well, thanks for coming on, and we will keep promoting this event over the next week. We'll mention it every week on the show. And I want to just remind everybody that's September the 7th, and that is the Connecticut Cannabis Session. Justin, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you coming on. All right,
Thanks,
take
guys.
care now.
Cheers.
All right, cheers. All right, so we're ready for our next guest. Our next guest is Michelle Valet, family nurse practitioner and certified cannabis practitioner, has over a decade of experience in hospital, school, and community settings, caring for patients of all ages. She started her own nurse practitioner, ran primary care telemedicine practitioner in 2018, advanced telemedicine. After listening to hundreds of patients concerned, the growing need for additional access to medical marijuana services became increasingly clear. Michelle Valet expanded her practice to offer medical cannabis education, consultation, and certifications. In April 2024, she opened the Connecticut Medical Marijuana Research Source Center located in Orange, Connecticut. Michelle, how are you?
Hi, Joe. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm so excited to be here.
We're
Oh, it's
excited to
great to
have
have
you.
you. Great to have you back on. And we were over there the other night, and Lou and I were saying what a great spot you have.
We had
And
a
we want
great time.
Yeah, we had a great time over there, and you have a great spot over there. So tell us a little bit about what motivated you, what prompted you to actually get a physical office here right here in Orange, Connecticut.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for coming by the other day. We were so proud to host the talk about tongue twisters. I know I gave you quite an introduction there to read off. Um, Connecticut Cannabis Small Business Alliance meeting we hosted at our new facility. We saw all of your faces. It was great, and a lot of other experts in the field. It was an honor to be able to host such a good event. So we have been in business. I started the practice. It's a primary care practice in 2019, and we were getting more and more requests for medical marijuana. Patients had questions. They weren't able to find a provider that would give them answers to their questions or anything about it. So that is what we started to specialize in. So over the past few years, the majority of our patients come to us for medical marijuana, questions about it. And so a lot of our patients have trouble with telemedicine. They just want to speak to someone face to face. So that
Right.
was one of the reasons why we decided to get an actual office. And then we got carried away, which good for the good. So we decided to name it the Connecticut Medical Marijuana Resource Center, because what we were seeing is there's becoming a larger and larger gap between the patients and the dispensaries and the experts in the field and the consumers. It's not really that well connected. You have to work to kind of still find your needs, and it
Yeah,
shouldn't
you
be
have to
that
go to a
hard.
bunch of different places. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So that is what our goal is to be. You can come to us. We're in a pretty central location, Orange, Connecticut,
Mm-hmm.
right on the Boston Post Road. We're located right next door to Rise Dispensary. So we have a lot of patients that go in there, can't get what they want or still have questions, and they come over to see us. And we sit down with patients. We will spend as much time as you need answering questions about the program. Our front room is just dedicated to, it's like the Connecticut Welcome Center, except for
It
cannabis.
is.
So
I
anyone in
love
the
that.
industry can drop cards off, information, and I want people to come to us and see all the resources available in Connecticut. So if anyone's listening now and you want to drop by, bring your stuff, please, I want your stuff to be out there so patients know all the great work that people are doing in the state.
So you hear that, everybody? If you got flyers, if you have promotional materials, even stickers, business cards, and you're related in the cannabis industry, bring them on over to Advanced Telemedicine. Mail them if you have to,
Yep.
but she will put them out, and I will concur that they have a great space out there up front. It's a nice waiting room, a lot of things already in there, but the more the better.
Yep. And we have a beautiful classroom. And so already we've partnered up. Gold Coast Grow came and taught 2 great classes of how to grow your own. Lisa Capitani, a nurse, came and gave a class on how to make your own edibles. I'm going to be leading the class this month. We're going to be talking about CBD, THC, how they work, why they work, what dosage to use. And then next month, we have a great class where I've teamed up with a yoga instructor, and we're going to be doing yoga and make your own roll on CBD oil. So again, I want to just keep reaching back out there. Like, I want to be a resource for everyone, both workers and consumers. So if anyone has any recommendations of classes they would like to attend or lead, reach
Oh,
out to
oh,
us. Our classroom's available
most
for rent.
definitely.
Yeah. So
So yeah, we want to see more things. We just had an educational person on now who's doing a seminar in Norwalk. Maybe there's a way we can team you guys up. So
yeah.
you never know. You never know what kind of connections can be made. But besides just the medical marijuana recommendations, you also do other things over there at the office. Tell us a little about the other services you offer, because I got to tell you, as a cannabis patient and also as somebody who needs medical attention every now and then, I prefer to have a doctor who is cannabis friendly. So, and a lot of doctors aren't. A lot of people who've been going to their GP for years want to start using cannabis, and they end up getting a lot of flack from these traditional allopathic doctors. Now, I will say a lot more, getting more educated, but you are now offering other medical services for people in a more cannabis friendly environment, incorporating cannabis into the treatment. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about the other things that you offer for people who might, need other medical services.
Yeah. So we are keeping our actual office sick free. So I want people to come and relax and hang out and talk to us and not worry about being in a waiting room with other patients that might be contagious or sick. So we do sick visits, but those we still have kept confined with telemedicine. So if anyone does wake up not feeling well, have a rash, give us a call and we can certainly diagnose, prescribe. We'll see you in a simple kind of FaceTime phone call. So we do offer those services. In our office, it is, like Joe said, very cannabis focused. So we offer consultations on answering your questions. One fun service that we offer is a dispensary field trip. So we've done that with a few patients that are brand new to this. They were just kind of desperate, looking to get out of the traditional medical world of pills. But they didn't even know where to begin. They were afraid to go into the dispensary. So there's been times where myself or one of my other trained colleagues will go to a dispensary with them, walk them through the process, help them pick out their products. And then we offer some other services. We do N95 fit testing, DOT physicals. You can see it all on our website. And we are also looking to partner with somebody in the field that might want to help us expand. We're thinking about maybe offering Reiki or massage or something that would also kind of complement like the plant therapy model. So that is definitely the angle that we're going with, to kind of help these people and all of us that are sick of the just take another pill to fix it world that we live in.
Yeah, and I think that is where the nuances of cannabis can come in. Because I think you and I have been discussing, there are a lot of patients out there who need different cannabinoids other than what they are offered at the dispensary. I know for myself, for my GI issues, I take CBG, CBM, I take different cannabinoids, and the need for more specific medicines is really there. And I know there are people out there who are doing this. Do you work with the patient, helping them figure out which cannabinoids, what will work best for their specific ailment? Because I think that's part of the reason why you probably opened is every patient is different. So,
Yep.
you can go say, well, for gut issue, you might want to use a more indica, whatever, but those medicines may not be available at the dispensary. So in that kind of case, what do you do? How do you recommend to
Yeah,
deal
that's a
with that?
great question. So luckily, fortunately, I should say, as we're kind of slowly paving the way through the laws and getting more open to cannabis, we are finally starting to get more research done on those different cannabinoids that we didn't know so much about in the past. We know a lot about THC and CBD. Those are the ones that we hear a lot about. But as you mentioned, Joe, CBN, CBG, we're just starting to learn more about those products, and more people are starting to produce them, not necessarily in the dispensaries. So yes, we do have partnerships and relationships with some great growers that we do meet with the patients individually. And like you said, every case is really individualized. Two people could have headaches, but they each require a different treatment plan. So we do work with them, and we do help them get the products from a reliable, high quality grower to meet their needs.
Good. Yeah, because I think that's what's been lacking. I know for me, those specific cannabinoids really help, and that's something I couldn't find in a dispensary. But, luckily I have the resources to get those different cannabinoids. So good. I'm glad that is a service that is now being offered. Um, you also offer other things. I know you do lab testing, so you can actually really, really help people figure out what's going on with them and do a true diagnosis.
We could, yeah, absolutely. We could look a little bit more into vitamin levels and other things going on within the body to see what also kind of needs to be balanced to achieve ultimate wellness. So unfortunately, even with cannabis, it's not one size fits all. It's lifestyle changes and a bunch of different pieces that really will help bring wellness and increase your quality of life. And that's what we look at.
Yeah, I think that's important to understand that, besides, and I always used to tell this when I worked at a medical marijuana place, that besides just using, let's say for somebody with PTSD or anxiety or depression, besides using cannabis as a substitute for, say, antidepressants, you should still go see a therapist. And sometimes some of these conditions that people have, such as migraines, different things, can also be caused by nutritional deficiencies and poor diet poor habits and things like that. And I think it's important. And that's why I think it's important for people to be able to have the opportunity to come see an APRN in person who can actually check their blood pressure, who can do all the things that are necessary to give you a more overall approach to your disease or your condition than say what you would get from one of a more cookie cutter, for lack of a better word, um, practitioner. Does that make sense
Yes.
to you?
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm sure that's why you opened the office.
Yes. It was
Yeah.
all based on like patient requests and kind of the needs that we saw, in our current world right now.
Well, I think that needs to be the evolution of cannabis care. The fact that it's not just getting a recommendation and then going to a dispensary and getting medicine, that there is aftercare and that there is, that there is a place that you can come to and speak to an actual medical professional on a regular basis and not just be, one time a year when I renew my
I'm gonna say
license.
when my card expires. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, just to circle back on something Michelle said, when you said you do the dispensary tours, I really liked that a lot, actually, because I think it's very easy for those of us that are immersed in this world, industry, whatever. You don't even think about things like that, right? Some of us
Hmm.
have been, not that I'm advocating for it, but some of us have been consuming since we were literal children. We don't appreciate the fact that someone that is very nervous about trying a new substance, whether they've been on pharmaceuticals their whole life or not. That was prescribed by a doctor. They went to CVS. They understand that process of getting a prescription, walking up to the pharmacy, getting their bag of pills. Going to a dispensary is a whole new dynamic for them. And then on top of which we know, not all dispensary employees are the same. Some are newer, some are less informed. So just going in there, they might be rushed to purchase something for various reasons, right? So giving them that insight. And then the other piece being is, again, if people, it's medical for all of us, but for folks that are hyper fixated on something like migraines or PTSD or whatever, incorporating those lifestyle changes. And that just hit me because I was seeing a neurologist for a while and I felt like they turned me into a human guinea pig over my migraines. And then I found one that was a little more holistic, and it was exactly what you were speaking to. It was vitamin deficiencies, it was lifestyle changes, and it was 10 years ago them kind of being like, hint hint, wink wink, I can't really say this on the record, but you should try you should try consuming cannabis, that's going to help you. And they couldn't put that in my medical file, but I was very appreciative that 10 years ago someone was telling me to basically cut out fake sugar and smoke a little bit more mindfully. And that's what helped me. So I just find that very valuable because there's a lot of people that are very comfortable with cannabis. There are a lot of people that don't feel comfortable touching it with a 10-foot pole. And then there's a huge spectrum in the middle. And you're kind of meeting everyone where they're at. I really like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And yeah, you are exactly not alone for saying that. It's unfortunate that the way we kind of live in our world right now is we have doctors that treat what's wrong with us. And then we have some providers, not as many, that help prevent or find the root of the problem. And it's hard to find someone that does both of those. With the dispensaries, so, I hear often, well, why do I need a medical card if it's recreational now? And I just want to point out like a very clear example of something that I've seen at one dispensary in particular. And this is kind of how a lot of the dispensaries have changed over the past year, becoming hybrid, part recreational, part medical. So you walk in, you check in at a dispensary, and then the recreational users, not, this isn't the exact same model at all dispensaries, but it's the general gist. So the recreational users then either have pre-ordered or they go to a tablet and they order before they're allowed, like behind the doors, to get their products, where the medical patients check in and they go right up to the counter and they talk. They could pre-order for convenience, but they can also go in and talk to the pharmacist face to face and get help picking out their products. So right there is a huge difference. So the rec users go in, they order on their tablet, and then they go in, and there's not a pharmacist behind the counter on the rec side. It's a bud tender or someone that isn't required to have formal medical training. So it's
Right.
really meant for kind of a fun, let's just try it, purchase. Whereas the medical side, even though it's 10 feet away in a lot of places and it looks the same, it's actually a totally different model and ran differently. So I think anyone who uses marijuana on a regular basis for any kind of medical relief really should be on the medical side so that they can get that support and their questions answered by a medical professional.
Yeah, and I think it's important to have the card also, just for safety purposes to carry around with you. Also, you do get no taxes.
Get a
They have
higher
also
limit.
higher limit.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not
Different medicines with different potencies than you can on the rec side. And we're hoping that things will pick up and get better on the medical side, but don't give up on it. Let's put it that way. I know
yeah.
right now things are in a state of flux because we just brought in adult use. So the providers right now are just getting situated. They probably weren't prepared a little bit for the demand that came up. And we got a lot of new cultivators and a lot of new dispensaries open up. I know, Lou, yours will be a hybrid dispensary, correct?
Yep. We're hybrid and still working on all the
The
trials and
details.
tribulations,
The
trials and
logistics.
tribulations, the logistics, the trials, tribulations, everything that they're trying to put us through. But we'll be open, and then our cultivation will be open, and we'll have products like a lot of the other newer people that are opening up. Shout out to Shangri-La again, because why not, right?
Yep, yep. And
Um,
I know there's a new gummy company. As a matter of fact, you have their stuff there, a new gummy company from Connecticut.
yep.
That is,
Soundview opened up recently. They're
yep.
doing chocolate as well soon. So, shout out to all the local social equity owners that are starting to pop open, and shout out to all those that are trying to really make it accessible. But don't give up on the that's the big
Medical
part of it.
program.
Don't give
Yeah.
up on the medical side, because it's good to have. Hey, the discount, can go a long way.
And we just got a new ombudsman in there who maybe shake things up a little
Maybe
bit.
shaking
We,
things up. We
we
hope that's
spoke with her, so you don't know. But yeah, don't give up on the medical program. I want to put that out there. And also look into the option, and like you say, you've been holding classes up there, of growing your own and making
Yeah.
your own medicines. This is why you have these DIY how to make gummy classes,
right.
how to make a roll-on class, because that is also an option. If you're not finding what you want in a dispensary, you can consult with somebody about the proper strain. You can get the proper genetics. We just talked about a great educational event coming up on the 7th. You can learn how to grow. Michelle holds events. You got Gold Coast up there. Learn how to grow your own, learn how to make your own medicine, and
People are
then you can
doing
be
it. It's an active
self-sufficient.
community, right, Joe?
Yeah, it's an
We're
active
trying to say
community.
it's an active community. Do what you got to do. Grow your own. Get some from the dispensary. You might be picking up, maybe you're just getting the oil from the dispensary now, and you make what you do. There's
You
so many
grow your
different
own
things.
flour. There's
You can
different
grow your own
ways to do it.
flowers. Yeah, and having a coach. If you were going to work out, you'd have a coach. You know what I mean? If you were going to be an athlete, you'd have a coach. Shout out to the Hamden track runner that just brought home some medals.
That's
But
right.
Michelle would be your
Ilona Moore
coach.
too.
There you go. And Michelle would be your coach. You know what I mean? So that would be that where we go with that. So
Yeah.
with her being your coach, you can start making it happen.
And real quick, I know you also have other people up there besides yourself. You have a full staff. I don't want people to think that you're running around all by yourself doing this. Give a shout out to your staff. Tell us a little bit who you
Absolutely.
got else you got working up there.
So we have a great team. Judy Servini is our office manager. She's been in the industry since it started. She became a farm tech just to work in one of the dispensaries. So she's running our office, doing an amazing job. So if you call our 1-800 number on the website, it'll go right to Judy. So we don't do any outside phone services or anything. You're either talking to me or Judy. And then we have two other great nurse practitioners that work in the practice as well. Antoinette Toll, and Jessica Champagne. So you'll see one of the three of us. We all go for continuing education hours each year to stay up to date and current with all of the cannabis laws. We belong to several local and national associations as well, advocacy. So yeah, we are completely in it, and we want to be, like I said, the main resource for you with up-to-date information. And then also, Joe, to your point, kind of the legal protection side of having a card, that's a big difference. And I do have a lot of people that keep their card for that. In particular, when it comes to growing, hopefully, if you're going to grow your own, you'll have a nice harvest. And with a medical card, you are able to purchase up to 5 ounces per month from a dispensary, but you're also able to carry on you up to 5 ounces, which is a good amount. So hopefully when you have that,
yes,
those
exactly
flourishing
right. That's kind of
bushes
what...
in your yard, you're good. Without a medical card, you can only carry up to 1.5 ounce only. I mean, that's still a good amount, but it's a big difference of the protection you have with a medical card.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, maybe Lou knows this too. If you are a medical patient, do you get like double the amount of plants? You know what I mean? Because you're both a medical patient and you have the right to grow as an adult use person
No,
too.
we.
No.
I wish, right? We wish.
I wish too. No, it's
Oh,
unfortunately it's the same. Medical patients were able to grow earlier in the state, but then they opened it up
right.
to everyone with the same laws to follow.
I was
Yep.
because that could be a good benefit to motivate people. But
Yeah.
and no, I agree with you, and you're very reasonable over there. So I want to recommend this to anybody who wants to get their medical card, but also have some extra help along the way, extra consultation.
Joe,
Yeah.
I tell everybody get your medical card because even when you travel, reciprocity goes a long way. People look
Yep.
at
Other
things
states.
differently.
Yeah.
People look at things differently when you have a medical card because, especially just going through the day, if somebody's like, "Oh, this is your recreational cannabis" versus "this is your medical cannabis," you know what I mean? It's a big difference.
No,
So
I agree. I agree. So, Michelle, tell us how people can get in touch with you. Social media, your website, your address. I want people to come up there in person and hang out. And
Yeah,
yeah, just
absolutely.
give us all the details.
Okay. So, like you said, affordability means a lot to us. This is something that we've seen help so many people. There are no laws or guidelines right now of what providers actually can charge. So people have made up numbers. So you see it for 150, 300, all these different high prices for the exam for the medical card. We offer a free consultation. So please don't be afraid to pick up the phone or email us, ask us questions. If you do not qualify, we'll be honest with you and we won't charge you. If you do, our normal rates are $109 for the first visit, and then it goes to $89 for your renewals. But if you mention this radio ad, we're doing a promotion, and we'll do $89 if you mention
Cannabis Corner. If
Yeah,
you mention
so,
Cannabis Corner, you get 80. All right, I like that.
yeah, absolutely. So we have a website, advancedtelemedicine.com. Our email is info@advancedtelemedicine. And we have a 1-800 number right on our website. I'll say it here as well. It's 1-800-835-9812. And that goes right to Judy Cervini, our office manager, and she'll be able to answer most of your questions or get you in touch with me.
And your socials?
What?
Advanced Telemedicine LLC. Is that your Instagram?
Oh, yes. Yeah. We have a Facebook page, Instagram page, Advanced Telemedicine. We're all
right.
over.
Very, very good. Yeah, go ahead.
Our address, 185 Boston Post Road in Orange. Right next to, if anyone knows the area, we're in an awesome little plaza next to Jesse's Toys and China Pavilion, a lot of businesses that have been there for a long time. And then Rise Dispensary is right next door as well. So it's a good resource for us.
All right. I just got the word. We got 30 seconds left. So, Michelle,
okay.
Thank you so much for coming on. Give us the dates real quick of those classes.
Yeah. So right now, our next class, I'm just looking, August 20th is the CBD THC class. And then we haven't announced the date yet of September. And then this Wednesday, I'm actually going to be at the Burn and Learn Center doing on-site medical card exams. So that's something else. We just want it to be accessible and affordable.
All right. Harry says, say bye. Any last words, Uncle Lou?
Please stay happy, healthy, and high, my friends. And Michelle, I look forward to a budding relationship.
Same. Goodbye,
Have a great
guys.
day,
Love
everyone.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Kristen. Bye-bye. You can follow us
Bye.
at Greenhaven Media on Instagram and Facebook. Follow me at Joe the News Guy at both. And please subscribe to our new YouTube page and log on to our new website, greenhavenmedia.com. Big things are coming up. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. I love you. Peace and love. Remember, love your neighbor as yourself.